السادة أصحاب السعادة المحترمين، السيدات والسادة الحضور المحترمون، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يسعدني ويشرفني باسمي وباسم مركز رواق بغداد للسياسات العامة أن أرحب بكم جميعا في هذه الندوة الحوارية المتميزة إن شاء الله، والتي نحتفي بها ومن خلالها بزيارة رفيعة المستوى من جمهورية الأذربيجان الصديقة. ويسعدنا أن نستضيف اليوم سعادة السيد يالتشين رافاييف، وكيل وزارة الخارجية في جمهورية الأذربيجان، الذي شرفنا بحضوره الكريم على رأس وفد رفيع المستوى. سعادة السيد رافاييف هو أحد أبرز الكوادر الدبلوماسية الأذربيجانية، وهو يحمل شهادة البكالوريوس في العلاقات الدولية من جامعة باكو الحكومية، وتلقى تدريبا متقدما في كلية الدفاع التابعة لحلف الناتو في روما، كما أكمل دراسته العليا في الأكاديمية الدولية لمكافحة الفساد في النمسا. وقد تنقل خلال مسيرته المهنية في عدد من المناصب المهمة داخل وزارة الخارجية وفي بعثات أذربيجان الدبلوماسية إلى كل من النمسا وجنيف، وتدرج في المناصب حتى تولى منصب مدير دائرة الأمن الدولي، ثم عين في العام 2023 بموجب مرسوم رئاسي بمنصب وكيل وزارة الخارجية، كما حاز على عدة أوسمة وشهادات تقدير رفيعة من فخامة رئيس الجمهورية، أبرزها وسام التميز في الخدمة الدبلوماسية. ويطيب لنا أيضا أن نرحب بالوفد المرافق لسعادته، وهم السيد متعلم مرزاييف، رئيس دائرة الشرق الأوسط وأفريقيا في وزارة الخارجية، وكذلك السيد علم الدين مهدييف، رئيس دائرة التنمية الدولية في وزارة الخارجية، وسعادة السيد الصديق السيد إلنور محمد زادة، القائم بالأعمال في سفارة جمهورية أذربيجان في بغداد. إن هذه الزيارة الكريمة تمثل خطوة مهمة في توطيد أواصر التعاون الثنائي وفتح آفاق أوسع للتفاهم وتبادل الخبرات، لا سيما في القضايا المتعلقة بالسياسات العامة والدبلوماسية والتنمية. نجدد الترحيب بكم ونتطلع إلى نقاش ثري ومثمر يعزز من جسور التواصل والتعاون بين بلدينا الصديقين. شكرا لكم وأهلا وسهلا بكم مرة أخرى. يتفضل الصديق الأستاذ يالتشين رافاييف، سعادة وكيل وزير الخارجية وزارة الخارجية في جمهورية أذربيجان، ليتفضل بكلمته متحدثا عن السياسة الخارجية في أذربيجان. Thank you so much. The mic is with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to apologize for starting the session late. It was not due to us. It's high time in the traffic and we had some difficulties. But it's very good to be here for me, for my delegation. It's my first time in Iraq, in Baghdad, and since our arrival we have felt the hospitality, the warm reception of our brothers and sisters here. So thank you so much, and we will leave Baghdad tonight with very warm and friendly memories from this visit. Azerbaijan and Iraq, we share a common history, common culture, and common religion. That are our strongest bonds that exist between our nations. But now our governments, our ministries of foreign affairs, our top leadership are having such level of high level relationship that complement this brotherhood and friendship at the political level. The objective of our visit to Iraq this time is to have a political consultations with our brothers and sisters from Iraq, from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We have reviewed our bilateral relationship together with our colleagues. We have identified new areas of cooperation between two countries, and we have talked about how we can further support each other within international organizations or any other platforms. Azerbaijan has gained its independence in 1991. It was, we have once gained our independence at early 20th century, but it lasted only 2 years. Then the Soviet period in our history has started, and we got second time our independence in 1991. And we are only 34 years old country. But despite this short period of existence, Azerbaijan has gained a lot due to its very active foreign policy that we have pursued in these 34 years. We have been member of United Nations Security Council, non-permanent member in 2012-13. We have chaired non-aligned movement for more than 4 years. Last year we have hosted COP29, and I had the privilege to be the COP29 chief negotiator to facilitate the negotiation on main outcome documents of the COP29. Our region is very challenging and very difficult region, very complex one. We are neighbored in the northern part with Russia, in the south with Iran, on the west with Armenia and Georgia, and a very small portion of border we share with Turkey. Russia and Iran, I think there is no need to explain further how challenging is this neighborhood. We are sandwiched between these two. But Georgia and Armenia held for about 30 years under occupation of 20% of Azerbaijani territories. And Georgia, since 2008, is in active conflict with Russian Federation. So it's very volatile region that we are living in, and that affected a lot the foreign policy formulation and evolution of Azerbaijan. In our foreign policy, we have always upheld international norms and principles, namely mainly sovereignty, territorial integrity, and inviolability of state borders. These are sacred principles in our foreign policy. Unfortunately, that was violated when we got independence in 1991. But in 2020, as a result of a war we had with Armenia, we have liberated most of these territories. And in 2023, as a result of counter-terrorist operation, we have liberated the remaining small portion of these territories. Now we have full control over the whole territory of Azerbaijan after more than 30 years. This is very important for our people. If you come to Baku, in the streets you can find every individual affected by this conflict. Either some of them have lost their family members, some of them have been part of this conflict as a soldier or as a family member of any soldier or member of the armed forces. So this victory that we gained was already become a part of our identity now. The people feel very encouraged and inspired by having justice prevailed in this sad story that we have been experiencing since our independence. Our relationship with the Gulf countries, with other Arabic countries, have been always at the top level, because we have been supported by all our Muslim and Arabic friends and brothers throughout the conflict. We have felt consistent support by Iraq to the just cause of Azerbaijan, its sovereignty, territorial integrity. And this relationship in the last few years have culminated to its peak by having His Excellency President of Iraq visiting Azerbaijan in the last 2 years 3 times, and our presidents meeting at different platforms on several issues of concern for both countries. And following my visit here, our foreign minister is going to visit Baghdad on the 7th of May. And we will be also hosting the Minister of Communications of Iraq in June very, very soon. So that means with this high intensity of exchange of visits, we both once again recognize the importance of human-to-human contact, the political level engagement that is needed to maintain this important momentum, and we are ready to even further it. Azerbaijan within multilateral organizations have always been active. I already named some of them, being a Security Council member of the United Nations, COP hosting, and the Non-Aligned Movement chairmanship. And the next year, Azerbaijan is going to host OIC Summit in Baku, and will hold 2 years of presidency of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation from 2016 to 26 to 28. We also will be hosting World Urban Forum next year, which is one of the biggest multilateral platforms. And we are now still holding COP presidency, COP29. Climate issues are new in our agenda and new in our foreign policy as a separate direction of activity. But in a very short period of time, we managed to build a successful negotiating team, which managed to get a historic outcomes in Baku last year, November, at the COP29. Now the world is living through very difficult times for multilateralism, especially in light of US administration's policy towards the climate issues, international organizations. We are a strong believer of multilateralism. We, as Iraq does, we both share the same values and interests that international organizations are really very important platforms to cooperate. I will give you an example, like during the COVID-19 pandemic, for example, we had World Health Organization who guided us how to act, like to wash our hands, to refrain from interacting each other. So just imagine if we couldn't have any international organization telling us the standards, what to do. So that would have been very difficult to cope with the challenges of the pandemic. So therefore, that is just a very simple example. So we therefore are strong believers that we should continue to have multilateralism to triumph, and we all need to be an active player in this process. European dimension in our foreign policy is something that we are having usual turbulences. Even though in our national security concept, European integration is something that we have absorbed, but from Europe, probably you are also experiencing the same, we do not see a sustainable approach to for the cooperation with us and with our brotherly countries. Like, it depends on the political powers who are in the power in these countries to decide whether they want to be friendly to us or not, despite the fact that they are relying on our oil and gas. We are a reliable partner for them for many energy-related and transportation-related projects and initiatives. But we haven't seen the same kind of reliable approach from those countries. Therefore, now in our foreign policy, we prefer more to tend to turn our cooperation and explore more cooperation opportunities with the countries in the Middle East and Africa, with in the Latin American dimension, in Asia, since we are part of the global south, we are part of the developing world, and we want to, as we have shared values and principles, we want to act together with our friends and brothers. So this is in a nutshell just a very brief and generic explanation of the main principles and directions in our foreign policy. I would be happy to answer any questions if there is from our participants today. Thank you once again to be part of this discussion, which I would be also more than happy to exchange views even after this.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rafai, for your introduction, for talking about Azerbaijan foreign policy that I've been testing while I just finished my last visit to Baku. I went to Baku regularly from time to time, but for tourism issue. But last time was an official issue, official visit to Azerbaijan. It was great opportunity also to listen to Mr. President, Mr. Ilham Aliyev, while he's talking about Azerbaijan foreign policy. So thank you so much for your introduction. We'll take this opportunity to listen to the comments or to the questions of the gentlemen, our guests. We'll start one by one if you don't mind.
Sure.
شكرا جزيلا. شكرا جزيلا لمركز رواق بغداد والأخ الدكتور عباس حنبوري، وأهلا وسهلا بسيادة الوكيل والوفد المرافق له. ومن دواعي سرورنا أن نحضر هذه الحوارية والندوة في مركز يعتبر من أهم المراكز العراقية للتفكير ورسم السياسات. حقيقة أنا حبيت أن أتداخل حول 3 قضايا أساسية. المسألة الأولى هي مسألة كوب 29 الذي تم في أذربيجان، وكانت مؤسستنا مشاركة في هذا الكوب، مؤسسة بحر العلوم، وقمنا لنا جمع الأطراف المتشاطئة للعراق، تركيا وسوريا في وقتها وإيران ودول أخرى أيضا مثل الأردن. ما هي أبعاد التعاون بين العراق وأذربيجان حول ملف التغيرات المناخية، وما هي آليات التنسيق؟ ولم نرى هناك بعد الكوب يعني على الأقل اطلاعي الشخصي زيارات بين وزارة البيئة العراقية ونظيرها في أذربيجان. هذه المسألة الأولى. المسألة الثانية، ما هو رأيكم بالمفاوضات الإيرانية والمتغير السوري، المفاوضات الإيرانية الأمريكية، المتغير السوري والدور التركي في المنطقة؟ المسألة الثالثة التي أود الإشارة إليها، في العام الماضي زارنا سعادة السفير الأذربيجاني في مؤسسة بحر العلوم، السفير نصير على ما أعتقد
ماميدوف، نصير ماميدوف،
واتفقنا على أن يكون هناك تعاون على الأقل مع مراكز التفكير العراقية، ورشحنا مجموعة من الأسماء، ولكن بعد فترة جاءنا جواب بعدم وجود مترجم. فأعتقد أن الجواب غير مناسب لدولة مثل أذربيجان أن تتحذر أو تعتذر عن حضور مراكز التفكير العراقية بحجة المترجم. شكرا جزيلا.
Yes. Who else? Yes.
السلام عليكم. شكرا لإتاحة هذه الفرصة، وشكرا لإيجاز الممتع عرض العلاقات العراقية الأذربيجانية. سؤال يتعلق بالعلاقات العراقية الأذربيجانية. تحدثت عن تطور هذه العلاقات، لكن نعلم أن العلاقات بين البلدان تترسخ حين وجود اتفاقات مشتركة بين البلدان. فين في الأفق اتفاقات عراقية أذربيجانية مشتركة، وما هي فرص الاستثمار بالنسبة للعراقيين في أذربيجان؟ شكرا.
دكتور.
السلام عليكم. شكرا لمركز رواق على هذه الفرصة، وكل الترحيب والتحية لمعالي وكيل وزير الخارجية الأذربيجاني السيد يالتشين رافاييف والوفد المرافق له. وهذه بصراحة فرصة طيبة إنه استمعنا لسياسة خارجية لدولة مهمة وبصراحه درس لنا احنا حتى نستفيد من التجربه الاذريه، على اعتبار انها دوله بين اضداد. البيئه الجيوسياسيه الموجوده في اذربيجان مبنيه على الصراعات، يعني شلون قدروا يوفقون في هذا المكان الجغرافي اللي اشبه بالمكان اللي موجود به العراق، انه عندهم روسيا، ايران، تركيا، ارمينيا، دول تعيش على الصراعات. والساعات الوكيل معالي الوكيل ركز على قضيه السياده والحدود على انها من اولويات السياسه الخارجيه. انا اريد اتساءل او استفسر، احنا العراق ايضا محصورين بين 6 دول وبيئه صراعات كذلك في العراق. فعلى اي اساس انبنت، يعني بدي الاحظ انه اذربيجان بدات تستعين بدول خارج هذه المنظومه الجغرافيه، مثلا علاقتها مع الاتحاد الاوروبي، مع الدول الاوروبيه، ربما مع الولايات المتحده، مع اسرائيل، مع دول من خارج المساحه الجغرافيه اللي هي واقعه فيها اذربيجان. ممكن احنا العراق يكون عندنا ايضا ممكن احد الحلول المطروحه على سياستنا الخارجيه مستقبلا انه احنا نتحالف مع دول من خارج المنظومه الجغرافيه اللي عايشين بها احنا يقع فيها العراق. اقول هل نجحت تجربتكم؟ انت اشرت الى يعني تلكؤ في العلاقه مع الاتحاد الاوروبي وتوجه نحو الشرق الاوسط. انا صراحه لا اعرف دوافع العلاقه الاذربيجانيه الاسرائيليه، يعني احب اعرفها دوافعها، وهل عادت عليكم بالنفع سواء على المستوى الاقتصادي او الامني او الجيوسياسي؟ وهل اخفقت علاقتكم مع الاتحاد الاوروبي؟ وهل ترون ان هناك فرص مثلا للعلاقه مع اطراف اخرى، ومن هي؟ وكيف ستكون اسس هذه العلاقه؟ هل على اساس التحديات المشتركه؟ على اساس الهويه اللي موجوده احنا عندنا بالشرق الاوسط؟ يعني انتم جانب الهويه عندكم مغيب، او على اساس الفرص الامنيه، الفرص الاقتصاديه وبناء شراكات اقتصاديه؟ شكرا جزيلا.
دكتور يوسف محسن.
شكرا جزيلا لمركز رواق بغداد على هذه الندوة المميزة والاستثنائية، ونجدد الترحيب بسعادة وكيل وزير الخارجية. لدي 3 أسئلة سعادة الوكيل. السؤال الأول يتعلق: ما هي إمكانية اندماج أذربيجان في مشروع طريق التنمية اللي أعلن عنه العراق في مايو عام 2023؟ زرنا سعادة السفير وكان بحضور قائم بالأعمال قبل تقريبا سنة من الآن، وكان حديث لديكم رغبة بالاندماج بهذا الطريق ليوفر على العراق أيضا فرصة لإطلالات أخرى في القوقاز. والسؤال الثاني أيضا التبادل التجاري أعتقد لا زال دون الطموح ما بين البلدين، أعتقد لم يتجاوز 150 مليون دولار حسب الأرقام اللي اطلعنا عليها من ساعة السفير. الموضوع الثالث هو أيضا يرتبط بالسؤال اللي راح أستاذ عباس، بس الآخر من وجهة نظر أخرى. أذربيجان استطاعت يعني أن تلعب دور إيجابي ما بين العراق وإسرائيل بعد أحداث 7 أكتوبر، وتجنيب العراق ضربة إسرائيلية كانت محتملة لأهداف قد تشمل أشخاص أو منشآت حيوية. ما هو شكل الشرق الأوسط بعد 7 أكتوبر من وجهة نظر أذربيجان؟ هل تعتقد أنها يعني التغييرات التي حصلت فيها فرصة تعزز أمنها القومي، أم لديها رواية لم نطلع عليها سيما هذه الجلسة
شكرا جزيلا مركز رواق بغداد على هذه الاستضافة الرائعة، صراحة المهمة جدا مع دولة مهمة جدا تطلق فيها كثير من الشركات الثقافية. أنا بصراحة عندي سؤالين. السؤال الأول يعني بلغت ما يقارب 137 شركة عراقية مسجلة في أذربيجان كشركات استثمارية يعني حسب تصريح السفير الأذربيجاني في العراق، ولكن يبدو أنه شركة أو شركتين فقط هي عاملة يعني أذربيجانية عاملة في العراق. وتطرقتم إلى إمكانية الاستثمار في مجالات الطاقة والنقل، فردت أسأل عن هذه الفقرة، كيف ممكن أنه تدعم الشركات الأذربيجانية أو ممكن نطور وجود الشركات الأذربيجانية في قصة الطاقة والنقل، يعني جولات مثلا التراخيص لم تكن فيها شركة أذربيجانية، ممكن عن طريق التنمية أيضا. الأمر الآخر هو المراكز الثقافية. كان متفق أن تقام 3 مراكز ثقافية في العراق، في أربيل والنجف والبصرة من قبل أذربيجان. ردت أرقى التحديث عن هذه الأمر، المسار الذي ممكن أن تعمل به هذه المراكز الثقافية، كيف ممكن تطور التحديات التي أمامها. وشكرا جزيلا.
شكرا جزيلا لمعالي رواق على ما يواجهنا دائما المبادرات الوطنيه وهي مساحه نقول فيها على دوله مهمه مثل الأذربيجان. الأذربيجان عانت من الصراع وتعاني من الصراع وتخشى الحروب الاهليه او الابادات الجماعيه. سؤالي ما هي رؤية وموقف الأذربيجان حول الإبادة الجماعية التي تحصل في غزة؟ شكرا جزيلا.
دكتور يوسف.
شكرا جزيلا دكتور عباس، شكرا سيادة الوكيل. قد يكون سؤالي مو سياسي لأنه هو يتطلب سياسي، بس يتجه نحو التنمية. طورت الأذربيجان استراتيجية تخص الذكاء الاصطناعي والتحول الرقمي من عام 25 إلى عام 28. وهذه مرت بظروف وخطوات جيدة بصراحة. العراق مقبل على استراتيجية أيضا للتحول الرقمي يقودها السيد رئيس الوزراء. هل بالإمكان تبادل الخبرات واستخلاص العبر والدروس المستفادة حتى ممكن تكون هذه الاستراتيجية هي متوازية ومتوافقة مع ما توصلتم إليه؟ شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا لاخواننا في رواق بغداد دكتور عباس والفريق العامل، واهلا ومرحبا بسعاده وكيل وزير الخارجيه. بشكل سريع لدي يعني حوالي 4 اسئله. زيارتك الاولى هذه الى العراق، اولا كيف تقيم التجربه العراقيه بصراحه؟ هل اختلف الامر عما كنت تظنه عن العراق الى ان زرته؟ وهذه التجربة مهم أن نسمع تقييمها بشكل صريح. الأمر الآخر، هل حدثت اتفاقات معينة مع الجانب العراقي أم لا؟ وفي أي مجال؟ السؤال الثالث، لا يخفى أنه تسمع كثيرا عن رؤية الولايات المتحدة للملف العراقي. هم ينظرون إلى العراق يعني من السياسة الخارجية عبر النافذة الإيرانية. أنتم كيف تقيمون هذا الرأي؟ هل ترون نفس الرؤية أم لديكم وجهة نظر مختلفة في التعامل مع الجانب العراقي؟ وأخيرا، تم الحديث عن أسئلة متكررة عن العلاقة مع إسرائيل، وأنتم خذتم حربا مع أرمينيا لأجل مساحة لا أظنها كبيرة، ولكن تعتبر هي أرض أذربيجانية ومن حق الأذربيجان استعادتها. ترى أيضا موقف أذربيجان تجاه الاحتلال الإسرائيلي اللي دام عشرات السنين وما جرى. بالنسبة لنا الموقف غامض في هالجانب هذا. نتفهم العلاقة مع إسرائيل، ولكن في الجانب الآخر روسيا لديها علاقة مع إسرائيل ولكنها ترفض الاحتلال الإسرائيلي، وهكذا بقية أوروبا لديها علاقة مع إسرائيل ولكنها ترفض الاحتلال الإسرائيلي. فهذا التعاون بين الأذربيجان وإسرائيل هل يؤثر في اتخاذ موقف أذربيجاني واضح تجاه القضية الفلسطينية؟ ونريد أن نعرف ما هي رؤيتهم في هذا الجانب.
Thank you so much. I think we'll take this opportunity to answer all the questions, and if we have time we can go to the others. عفوا دكتور، أنا حاسبك أذربيجاني ترى. Okay, the last question from Dr. Mu'taz.
شكرا جزيلا.
أنا صدق حاسبك وين.
أشكرك جدا. شكرا سعادة وكيل وزارة الخارجية الأذربيجانية على هذا اللقاء الممتع والمسر معك. إن شاء الله حضرت إلى بغداد، شبهت بغداد، أعتقد مشابهة إلى باء، تشترك بحرف الباء، ولكن هناك فتحة واحدة من المساهمات المهمة التاريخية والثقافية. أنا عندي سؤالين حقيقة. في اجتماع ميونخ الأخير اللي بين وزير الخارجية العراقي ووزير الخارجية الأذربيجاني، دعا الأستاذ فؤاد حسين وزير الخارجية الأذربيجاني إلى مساهمة الشركات الأذربيجانية المتخصصة في مجال النفط والغاز في الاستثمار بالعراق. ماذا تم على ضوء هذا اللقاء المهم والتفاهم المشترك؟ والسؤال الأخير، هنالك هدنة بين أذربيجان وأيضا أرمينيا، لا تزال لم ترسم الحدود بين الطرفين. فسؤالي بعد توقيع معاهدة السلام، هل هنالك تفاهم ما بين العراق والأذربيجان بخصوص ذلك؟ يعني هل هنالك رؤية عراقية تباحثتم بها الآن بالضوء على ضوء النتائج الحالية الموجودة بين أرمينيا وأذربيجان؟ ونحن نعرف السيد الرئيس معالي ذكر في أكثر من حديث يجب أن على أرمينيا تغيير بعض النقاط في الدستور الأرمني، خصوصا مطالبتها التاريخية في قرباق. شكرا جزيلا.
Okay, thank you so much. شكرا جزيلا. Now we'll take the opportunity to answer all the questions, and if we have time, so we'll go to the audience if you don't mind. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. All questions, all comments testify to the fact that you are very much knowledgeable about Azerbaijan-Iraq relationship, about the region, and I would be more than happy to reflect on all those points, and I'll try to group them. Instead of answering each question, I'll group them and try to answer, and please let me know if any of your questions remain unanswered. Regarding the bilateral relationship between Azerbaijan and Iraq, also its economic dimension, I had the question regarding the climate change coordination mechanism, cooperation. I had a chance today to meet with Deputy Minister of Environment, use this opportunity to meet in my capacity as Chief Negotiator of COP29 and as the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. We discussed a lot about, and also Iraq in its both national capacity and the capacity of chair of the G77 and China. Because G77 as a group is one of the biggest and the most active groups in the climate negotiations. And Iraq now is chairing this organization. Azerbaijan is part of G77 as well. We share a lot. We are both fossil fuel countries. We have the same strengths and the same weaknesses. Our economy being reliant on fossil fuel, oil and gas are at the same level, dependency. And our transition to a clean energy and green energy, difficulties and challenges are the same. Therefore, we understand each other better than everyone. Last year in COP, we had a very important agreement on climate finance. We have increased 100 billion annual commitment of developed countries to developing countries. We have tripled it. Now it's 300 billion, according to Baku Finance Goal. Azerbaijan and Iraq has very good opportunity to cooperate in climate negotiations, to defend our positions as fossil fuel countries, and to defend the outcome we have achieved in Baku. But at the same time, we have also good opportunity to exchange our views and practices in designing our new climate plans for the next 5 years and years ahead. So we expressed our readiness today in the meeting that let's have this cooperation more institutionalized. We have created a specific department with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on climate diplomacy, and we have shared the contact details so that Azerbaijan and Iraq on a daily basis to continue to coordinate their positions on climate issues. But there is a very also simple fact that because of the new US administration policy towards climate change as a whole, now the whole climate community is going through very difficult times. It will not be the same like last year or the year before. It will be more difficult, and we need to act together as developing countries. And we have also exchanged views on how we can support Iraq as current presidency of COP, as a climate vulnerable country, also as a conflict affected country, to have a better access to climate funds, to get funding for some climate related projects. Because we are now in a better position to ensure such good access for Iraq to such funds. On the question about cooperation between think tanks, I perfectly agree about the strangeness of the argument provided, but I at the same time assume that there is something misunderstanding between the sides, and I take it as a homework for me out of this visit to when I go back to Baku to work on this and get this relationship to be established as soon as possible between our think tanks. On agreements between Azerbaijan and Iraq, there are a lot of agreements for the moment that are under consideration on different issues, starting from cooperation between our oil companies and ministries, to education, to security cooperation, to military cooperation. A lot of on visa issues, on economic issues, like on both facilitating investment, on double taxation, avoiding double taxation. So there are a lot of topics that we are now considering agreements, and they will start to be signed even in few weeks. When our minister will visit Baghdad, some of them will be signed here in Baghdad, some of them in June during the Joint Commission meeting, some of them will follow up. So we have a very good momentum now, and we will cement this cooperation with also those agreements. And regarding the investments, one of those agreements is on investment, facilitation of such investments, because we need a legal framework so that our businesses, both your business to come to Baku and our business to come to Baghdad, in a much favorable condition, without having any difficulty dealing with bureaucracies, dealing with additional financial burdens like customs or different taxes. So for the moment, in terms of the number of companies you mentioned in Azerbaijan, Iraq, even according to our figures, the number are more than 130. It is a number of registered companies, and Azerbaijan also has many companies here. But the issue is that not all of them, of course, are usually active at the same scale. Like the Central Bank of Iraq is being constructed by Azerbaijani company, a construction company. Just an example. SOCAR is cooperating with his counterpart in Iraq on energy-related issues. And the same applies to many other companies. And we have decided during this visit to attach or to work within the Joint Commission to have a business council or business forums, trade missions between two countries to explore more opportunities for trade relationship and for economic relationship and investment related relationship. So in early July, we will have a business forum in Azerbaijan where the companies of both countries will attend and talk to each other, exploring more chances for cooperation. On the issue regarding cooperation beyond our region, and I've heard many questions about Azerbaijan's relationship with Israel. On that topic, let me be very frank on that, because we received so many questions about this, but let me explain how Azerbaijan is seeing this relationship and where it is in our approach to Israeli-Palestinian conflict. First, Azerbaijan has a very vibrant Jewish community since hundreds of years. This is not a newly established one. So we have those people part of our society. This is one of the foundations of our relationship with Israel. But this relationship has never been against any third country, and this relationship has never been more, let's say, active or more favorable than some of other Arabic countries with Israel or with any other country with us. Azerbaijan's official position, and that has been also translated into practical actions. Our position on that matter is that we want Palestinians to be an independent state, a two-state solution, with East Jerusalem being the capital of independent state of Palestine. When we were chairing non-aligned movement, we have always been supporting the Palestinian cause by having, you can see in all decisions, how we have supported Palestine, its just cause, and how we have, together with other Muslim countries, accused Israel for the actions. And that the same applies to when the Gaza events started to happen. We have condemned, together with all other Arabic countries, with Islamic countries, what is happening in Israel. And now also within the OIC, we have established our embassy in Palestine very recently. In Ramallah already our office has started to operate. We have appointed chief of mission after so many years. And Palestinian embassy in Baku has been working since several years with the support of Azerbaijani government. We have extended humanitarian support to the people in Gaza, and before that, for many years. And Mr. Metiev is the director of Azerbaijan International Development Agency. Through this agency, we have spent millions and millions of US dollars for humanitarian aid to Palestine. And again, official position of Azerbaijan on this matter is a two-state solution, with East Jerusalem being a capital of independent state of Palestine. And all those speculations around relationship of Azerbaijan with Israel being a specific one is not right. I mean, this is a normal relationship without being against any third country or without. And even during the conflict and war with Armenia, Azerbaijan has purchased military equipment or anything with how it was sold in the market. Like, you pay and you get it. There is nothing more than that, like security or intelligence cooperation that you are having with any favored conditions. The same we had with many other countries. So this is not a distinct one from others. So therefore, as I said, we have condemned always those actions being done in Gaza and in other parts, and the official position already expressed. Regarding digital transformation and artificial intelligence, we are now working on our national strategy on artificial intelligence, which I personally consider, and this is also a prevailing position within the government, that artificial intelligence is getting to be really a big danger. In parallel, it to be a big opportunity, but it's going to be a real challenge for the labor market, for security of many countries, and for economic development. Therefore, it needs to be somehow controlled. Uncontrolled development of the area itself really poses a great threat for the future. I have recently seen an initiative by China to establish International Center of Control over AI development, which I really found very interesting idea that needs to be supported by many. There was a question regarding US vision towards Iraq through the lens of Iran, West Azerbaijan. Never. We consider Iraq as our brothers, as two nations that share a lot, culture, religion, history, and we consider Iraq a completely separate brotherly country for us, and we have never seen Iraq through the lens of any third country. With Iran, we had very turbulent times in our relationship due to several reasons. During the both war with Armenia, conflict with Armenia, but also for some other security and related reasons. But with Iraq, our for the moment relationship is that we want to establish a general consulate in Erbil, looking forward to receiving positive decision of the Iraqi government on that, and hopefully we will get it soon, and we will soon establish a consulate general in Erbil. That will also help us to expand a bit more our community, our business, and our engagement with Iraqi society with more institutional backup. And that is also kind of response to the question regarding cultural centers in Baghdad, Erbil, and others, and Basra cities. Regarding my assumption before coming here and after this visit, and I would be very frank, I'm positively surprised, and I think there are stereotypes existing concerning Iraq, situation in Baghdad. I see a lot of developments here. I see construction going on everywhere. I see a security situation is completely different that has been drawn in the minds of people. And that is why I encourage also my colleagues at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to try to engage more people to come to Baghdad, to see with their own eyes that the situation is not, or the narratives that have been withdrawn in international media or international communities completely false. And this country needs to be build a cooperation with a partnership with all other countries. And finally, on Azerbaijan-Armenia issue, we had very painful history of this relationship. The conflict took thousands of people's lives for many years. Finally, in 2023, when we restored our complete sovereignty, we started peace negotiations upon the initiative of Azerbaijan. We said, let's have 3 tracks of normalization. First, to sign a peace agreement. Second, to open communications. And the third, to delimitate borders between 2 countries. On the second and third, we still continue. We have delimitated some part of the borders. We are talking about opening communications. But the most important element is peace agreement. And on the peace agreement, we have already agreed on the text of the agreement. Very recently, Iraq also issued a statement welcoming this agreement. But there is only one precondition. Abbas knows about it when this issue was discussed also during the recent conference that the president has announced. In the constitution of Armenia, there is a reference to Act of Independence of Armenia. In this act, Armenia claims part of Azerbaijani territory, the current Azerbaijan, to be annexed to Armenia. And we are telling to Armenians that if we want a long-term sustainable peace, you need to remove this provision from your constitution, this reference. This is a very simple one, like just to delete the reference to Act of Independence. In that case, you don't lose anything, but you have a very bright future, peaceful region. So far, we haven't got any positive feedback on that. Armenia still denies to remove this paragraph from the constitution. But this is very important for us to sign this agreement. Otherwise, we don't believe that even if we sign the agreement, it will be long-term and it will be sustainable. That will be just on paper. So we need to make sure that this is shared by 2 countries.
And there is a question about the trade exchange between the 2 countries.
Yes, trade exchange. For the moment, our turnover is $25 million between 2 countries, which is not corresponding to the potential between 2. Although it is increased, 30% increase in comparison with the previous year, and the tendency is going high, but we believe that there is untapped potential that we can work together with companies to increase this figure to a higher degree. And there are a lot of commodities that we can have trade between 2 countries. What we need is our companies to come together, exchange views, and explore these opportunities.
The last question will come from me, and it's about the visa issue. Which one? Yes.
المفاوضات الإيرانية
Yes, US, Iran, sorry.
الأمريكية وأحداث سوريا وتركيا.
Yes, about Syria.
Yes, sorry. On Iran-US negotiations, it's whenever, why the neighborhood of Azerbaijan is difficult because of Russia and Iran is because also, among other reasons, whenever sanctions are being applied towards Iran and Russia, our people are affected a lot. Because we have a very active interaction between our people, because we are neighboring countries, the trade is happening, 3 million Azerbaijanis are living in Russia, many millions are living in Iran, so when we have these exchanges, whenever sanctions are applied, it immediately affects this interaction. Therefore, any peaceful negotiation effort with Iran is our favor as well. Like we want all those negotiations, talks to result in a successful manner. And therefore we welcome Iran-US negotiations without having any hard power solution, which we try to avoid in our region, since we had with Armenia, Georgia had with Russia, and Russia with Ukraine. I mean, our region has suffered a lot from conflict, and we don't want to have any new one. Therefore, Iran-US negotiations, the positive signals that we are receiving from these negotiations are quite encouraging, and we think that if we can manage to get a positive outcome on this, that will be for the benefit of the region. And Syria, I have personally been to Syria in late December and met with Foreign Minister of Syria at that time. And we received quite positive signals from the Syrian administration concerning their willingness to cooperate with the neighboring countries, with all other countries beyond the region, and to have an inclusive government involving all ethnic minorities living in Syria. This is quite encouraging, also for one reason, that Azerbaijan has suspended the operation of its embassy in 2012 with Syria and the Bashar Assad regime. We have not cooperated since that time, and we have recently resumed the operation of our embassy because we believe that those signals and messages we are getting from Syrian administration are quite promising for the future of the society. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. I have a question about the relationship, social relationship between Iraq and Azerbaijan. Let me defend my friend and also Mr. Nasir Mamidov, who played a vital role in terms of strengthening the relationship with Iraq and specifically with the Iraqi think tanks. I was really appreciating his role, and also the role of my friend. He played a lot of things with us, Mr. Mohammed Zadeh. But my question is about the social relationship between Iraq and Azerbaijan, which was quite good in terms of having a tourist group from Iraq to Azerbaijan, and also the easiness of issuing visas between both sides, and specifically from Azerbaijan towards the Iraqi people. And as you know, that too many Iraqis are now studying in the Azerbaijani universities, but unfortunately the flights is stopped, and also issuing visa becomes very difficult nowadays. So is there any opportunity, or is there any vision for Azerbaijani government to reback to the last situation that we had in?
Thank you so much. Of course, the border regulations, migration and border-related regulations have been adjusted after COVID-19 pandemic. Now we are slowly getting back to the previous regulations, and this is a matter that is under our constant attention, and I'm sure very soon we will get positive developments in that regard. The number of Iraqi tourists coming to Azerbaijan is in increase. Last year it was around 3,000, or 2023. In 2024 it was more than 5,000. It's again being increased, and we have now once in a week direct flight from Baghdad to Azerbaijan, started as of 1st of April. And we will be working to increase the number of flights to welcome more Iraqi tourists to visit Azerbaijan. Azerbaijani society, the people are very hospitable. Those who have been to Baku, you know it, because we consider our Iraqi, and they are more hospitable to Iraqi nationals, because when a new spike in the number of tourists to Azerbaijan started, that was first Iraqi tourists coming to Azerbaijan in big numbers. And therefore, the people like to interact with Iraqi brothers and sisters, and I'm sure very soon we will resume the same level of interest by Iraqi tourists to come to Azerbaijan, and we will do our best to facilitate this interaction to the extent that we are responsible.
So, do we have time to go to the audience a little bit?
Sure.
أي واحد من الشباب إذا ممكن عندكم سؤال أو مداخلة أو تعليق.
In 5 minutes.
بس في 5 دقائق أكو واحد عنده سؤال أو مداخلة أو تعليق؟ إذا ماكو حتى الجلسة. اوكي، شكرا جزيلا في ختام هذه الجلسة لسعادة السيد يالتشين رافاييف وكذلك للوفد المرافق له. شكر جزيل لكل السادة والسيدات الحضور على هذه الفرصة، وإن شاء الله نلتقيكم في مناسبات أخرى.
Thank you so much.